Can't beat us, join us, please bring your coinage. We sink three-pointers, money shots, all net, all vets. Bums we not, jet skiing in them sunny spots. With women edible like gummy drops. Dummy stop, dummy stop. No weapon form can intercept a storm. Once my intellect is on, I'm projecting on magnetic fields and interact with blacks with athletic bills. I'm all about growth and development like residents of Ebbets Fields. Not to choose between woo and chew. We wanna line them colors up like a Rubik's Cube and fade to black, yeah, the truest hue. When you say the black man is God, who you alluded to? The usual, Clarence 13X, a worthy guess. The words expressed come from the word in flesh. Elijah M, the NOI versus Leviathan. Messiah sent from the heavenly branches. 7 P's from since G-Dub cut down the cherry tree. In the wilderness of North America, and we flossing death and forced aggression, or forced perception, forced protection, or forced confessions. It's all a lesson.
The sorcerers from Corsica, killer tonics, sticks and drums like the Philharmonic Orchestra. You niggas still playing harmonicas from officers. Fabric softener, jive turkeys popping 5 perkies, playing with keys, the Scotch storage type. For that soft right, we could've caught life, just being forthright. First class on my 4th flight, popping out like Fortnite. Every night we lit like Porsche lights. The meek shall inherit the earth, oh yeah, the scorched type. And these niggas, they some hoes in these streets. Me, I'm 10 toes in these streets. They lost their souls, niggas got holes in their feet. Shit, I'm just worried about the craft and how to perfect it. Not worried about the craft, yeah, that's out of perspectives. Focus on the chip like I'm Robert Kraft, and then how to protect it. It's the waves of the oceans. Get to the money, nigga, save your emotion. Descended of the slaves in the graves in the oceans. Mastermind, Theta Waves is in motions. These niggas, they addicted to the folly, addicted to that molly. Making me a movie, them sticks made of holly. I'm Dr. Manhattan, sitting on top of Manhattan. When I get all 5 rings, snap my fingers and pop up on satin. Dressed in all black, yeah, drop top the Phantom. Blast.
Crumb TV.
Can't beat us, join us, please bring your coinage. We sink 3-pointers, money shots, all net, all vets. Bums we not, jet skiing in them sunny spots. With women edible like gummy drops. Dummy stop, dummy stop. No weapon form can intercept a storm. Once my intellect is on, I'm projecting on magnetic fields and interact with blacks with athletic bills. I'm all about growth and development like residents of Ebbets Fields. Not to choose between woo and chew. We wanna line them colors up like a Rubik's Cube and fade to black, yeah, the truest hue. When you say the black
peace to the family, peace to you and yours. Peace to the family, peace to you and yours, you and yours, you and yours. Welcome, 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 welcome to another episode of WTF Wednesdays. You are now rocking with the best. Yes.
To this day.
This is your host.
To this day.
For the evening, Brother Red Pillar, ladies and gentlemen. And that song that you just heard right there, that is the Theta Waves featuring the Twin Pillars off of that Twin Pillar mixtape, coming to a streaming service near you very soon. All right, bet that. So first and foremost, how's everybody doing on this beautiful Wednesday, hump day and whatnot? We outside. WTF Wednesdays, the War Report. Matter of fact, KTL War Report Part 3, all three of them. Hold on.
To this day.
Yeah.
To this day.
That part.
To this day.
Let's go ahead and do the roll call. See who's in the building before we get this this thing going on and whatnot. You know we got a full show. A lot going on outside. Shout out to Blue Pillar. All right. Blue Pillar with the 4-4 lecture coming up. You know I'm talking about? When in Rome on 4-4. Y'all got to look out for that. But we will be talking about that very soon. Columbus, Ohio. You done know. Strong Island in the building. Shout out to Strong Island. We got the Flatbush Massive Dim. Shout out to Flatbush. All right. Shout out to Flatbush. Yeah, I'm talking about T-Dot in the building. Shout out to T-Dot. Okay, shout out to Detroit in the building. Shout out to Connecticut. We got Harlem in the building. Modesta in the building. Flint up in this thing. New Orleans up in this thing. North, Las Vegas, Charlotte, Norwood, Pennsylvania, Greensboro up in this biatch, Georgia. We got Brooklyn up in this thing. You know I'm talking about? Strong Island, Cottonwood, Alabama, Sagnasty, Cleveland, South Kakalaka, Thailand. We got North Kakalaka, South Kakalaka, Cali in the building, Texas in the building, Land of Flowers, Yay area. We got Massachusetts, Detroit up in this thing, Camden, Portland, Tampa, H-Town, Fort Lauderdale, North Carolina, Detroit, Alabama, Iowa. Yeah, y'all out. Yeah. Was really good. You know what I mean? Was really good. Y'all outside with it, I see. Okay. I ain't mad at you. Yeah, man. Let's just get this thing going. I don't want to hold y'all and whatnot. You know what I'm talking about? Shout out to everybody in the building. Shout out to everybody who was in the building with us on Monday. We pulled up on Monday to 363 Empire after we did Melanin Mondays over here. We went over there and we had a powerful show. That was a very well needed. Yeah, you in Tehran, legend. That was a show that needed to happen. You feel me? That was a show that needed to happen. That was a long time coming. You feel me? But it was good to set the record straight. You feel me? It was good to set the foundation, set the record straight, you know, set the carpet and whatnot, get the table set so the Mondem could come sit down and eat, you know? So the mind could come and sit down and eat at the table because that was history in the making, you know? That was history in the making. And yeah, we got a little bit more to do. I think that was just the beginning. I definitely y'all if y'all know anything about me, then y'all know that I've always spoken about doing the documentary. I feel like it's an important story, especially for people that are coming up in this thing, this brand new. You deserve to know the beginning story, the origin stories. You deserve to know who were the players. You know what the best analogy that I could use about Monday's show that we had? Y'all are familiar with the talent, right? Y'all are familiar with the talent that they call the conscious community. That right there was the managerial arm of the conscious community, the managerial arm. And you know that you're familiar with the talent, but a lot of people don't know who the managers or the managerial aspect, sort of like the label. you know, sort of like the label. You know, like you would know about a DMX, but you might not know who's behind him at Rough Riders. That would be the equivalent to what you saw on Monday. All of those brothers had they were the ones operating the camera. Behind the camera, those are the kingmakers, and those would be considered the managerial aspect of conscious community. You don't always see the people in front of the camera who have something to do with putting things together, you know. So shout out to everybody that played their part. You feel me? Shout out to everybody that played their part. But that would be the production side. That's the managerial side. The talent are the people that get in front of the cameras and do the videos and the filming. To be honest with you, when I started out, I was behind the cameras doing more managerial work, but I'm sort of an anomaly because I got in front of the camera. But you know, really, it's a lot of things that are done off camera. There's a lot of work, there's a lot of connecting, there's a lot of bridges that get built, there's a lot of quote unquote fires that there's a lot of liaison work that gets done behind the scenes that nobody will ever see. That's what the documentary and other things would more so reveal, or it would highlight a lot of the off-camera things that have taken place over decades. It's not just a few years, these are decades. Everybody on that panel that you saw, they've known each other for more than 30 years. You feel me? Everybody up there has known each other for more than 30 years. You feel me? And everybody on that panel, they don't necessarily, everyone does not stay in touch with one another. It's not like we're all pen pals and buddy, but everybody understands their position and their role in history. You know, everybody understands their role in history, something that nobody can never take away, something that no one can ever change, something that nobody can ever manipulate, something that nobody can ever just write themselves into the story. And that's important because, the story has been somewhat misaligned. Nobody really knows the story. So when you don't know the story, anyone can insert themselves into the story. And it's not to say that if they wasn't on that stage on Monday night that they're not a part of the story. No, not at all. Blue Pill wasn't there, and he is an integral part. A Rashid wasn't there, and he's a huge part. There's a few people who were not up there that are huge parts. There's a lot of people that are not alive. Let me say their names because they played a pivotal role, and it's important that they are spoken of and not forgotten. First and foremost, the divine feminine energy, Sister Burke. Sister Burke was very instrumental in putting it all together. She had a show on TV, well, not really TV, free public access TV, and she was the one that really set it off and got things rolling and whatnot. Clemson Brown, the elder Clemson Brown, he was the one who had a library, a whole library and whatnot. I see the Duke of Tears played a pivotal role with the youth and bringing in the youthful and the Moorish movement, the indigenous movement. Yes, him as well. He played a pivotal role in the earlier stages. Brother SKOOL, who was an elder who was selling DVDs, he was a distributor. Now, when the documentary gets put together, it will show that different people had different quote unquote. It's almost like Blockbuster Video may be known for certain type of videos, and then another video shop was known for their quality of video or their niches that they had a lot of. You get it? So Sinetta had a lot of you could find all of the Black Power, all of the Panther stuff, all of the RBG things sprinkled with some metaphysics, some occult, some Morris science. He had to serve what the people were asking for. but that wasn't his main, that wasn't his love. He didn't have a love for those topics like that. That wasn't his passion project. He would sell those videos, but he wasn't pushing those videos with the same passion that he was pushing Sarah Suit and Seti, you know what I mean, Captain Tahuti, you know, the people that he was pushing and whatnot, you know. That's kind of how that went, right? So Brother Azazel, he was very pivotal in the distribution market. He made transition. He dealt with all of the dark shit, right? Brother Azariah, he dealt with the occult shit. He dealt with the dark shit. I would even say that Bobby Hemmett was taking cues from Azazel. Baba TV. So Baba was instrumental, right? Baba comes in with the platforms, but Baba was selling the DVDs as well. Baba's platform was more metaphysical, RBG. It was that mixture and whatnot, you know. But then, as you see, Brother Shabazz out of Brooklyn, right? He was the one who started out pushing the metaphysical heavy. Bobby, Phil, Delbert, you know, that was kind of like his thing. And then Sonetta was more of the RBG, ba 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 ba. And then there was a falling out, a schism, a ism. And then Sonetta wound up inheriting a lot of those, I would say, titles, or just the distribution chains. Just the distribution chains, you know? And yeah, that's what you saw. It's a great story. It's an interesting story, especially in lieu of how popular and how quote unquote mainstream what you call consciousness has become. Albeit the ridicule, albeit the back talk, albeit all of the controversies, it has resurfaced and has rebranded itself, and it has found a lot of new adherents is the best word that I could say. Adherents. You know, a lot of people are finding out about themselves, right? I think the biggest thing in Black America right now, from what I've seen, is the identity, who am I type of thing. Everybody are rediscovering who they are. There's this whole thing about identity in the melanated community, and on the global diaspora part, so many people around the world are being quote unquote woken up and put on to melanated people's true history, not the we was kangs, and not we they getting put on to a lot of the true history, like who are the inventors, what were some of the battles that were fought, what's the true history of the Black cities that were drowned out, what were the names of some of the quote unquote successful entrepreneurs on Black Wall Street. Yeah, people are getting on to stuff like that. You know? But yeah, man. I'm really looking forward to the docu-series. You know, as long, because remember, I don't know how long I'm going to have this memory. You know, I got a good memory right now. And I don't fear losing my memory, but I want to get as much as my memory documented, as because I got other shit that I need to remember. You know what I'm talking about? I just can't hold on to these memories forever. They need to find themselves a home to live in, a page to live on, or some hard drives and whatnot. There's a lot to talk about. So while I'm still reminiscing and I'm still in my nostalgia mode, is very it would fare if, and it's just a bunch of us. It's a whole lot of people. There's a whole lot of people who had a lot of information and they're no longer here. So the people that are here, it is their duty to get in the lab and start spitting some bars about 20, 30, 40 years ago. You know, get the story out, you know, say the names of the people who need their flowers, and just kind of like, you know, speak of a time that it did, because this is a bygone era. This time don't exist. This is a bygone era. This is a no longer, this is a time that no longer exists anymore. It is a part of you know, this is some heyday type shit. This is some back in my days type stuff. You know? But yeah, we're gonna get it out. We're gonna get it out. Yeah, let's go. Let's get it in. Let's talk. All right. We're gonna cover some topics and then we're gonna get to the main topic, which is World War III, the war report. It's a bunch of other things going on before we land this plane. This is still, ladies and gentlemen, this is still a continuation of the fire horse apocalypse. All right. We have extended the fire horse apocalypse when in Rome to 4-4. Blue pill will be coming through on 4-4 to deliver what Mr. Pope Pablo does the best. You know what I mean? Where Minister Moreland is going to come through and deliver his sermon on 4-4. All right, because he wasn't able to make it on the 28th. All right, so look out for that. But we still cooking in that regards. We are still cooking, headed up into 4-4. An announcement, ladies and gentlemen, an announcement on Tuesday, which is right around the corner. On Tuesday, March 10th, we are going to be having Techno Bowl at Spin City headquarters. This is going to be episode number 52. All right. Episode number Tuesdays. So we are making this an IRL event, Techno Bowl. It is Techno Tuesday's anniversary event for all of my techies, my blurs and whatnot, my hackers, all of them. I need y'all to come through. I need y'all to come true next Tuesday in Atlanta, ATL at Spin City headquarters. If you scan that QR code right there, you'll get your ticket and whatnot. We got early bird tickets. It will cost more at the door. You're not just gonna be pulling up. You're gonna pay more at the door. Okay. This is at Spin City headquarters. This is next Tuesdays. The hour is 7 p.m. to about 10 p.m. We're gonna be having a mini hackathon. We got prize money. We're gonna have a prompt party. It is going to be a whole entire event. We're not just gonna be up there talking and whatnot. It's gonna be a whole entire event. So pull up and whatnot and come and have fun and come and enjoy yourself and come and get this work, this Techno Tuesdays work. Come to the Techno Bowl. Okay. Come to the Techno Bowl. And that will be next Tuesday, March 10th. I believe we'll be live streaming it as well. But it's definitely a live event. This is definitely more catered to an IRL audience. This more so you need to be there type of thing. So yes, Techno Bowl is on Techno Tuesdays next Tuesday. Okay. Yeah. All right. So in the midst of all of the hoopla going on, there's a lot of things that have been happening and whatnot. And it's kind of like been going underneath our radar. One of the things that has taken place that a lot of people wasn't talking about
We will go off the record.
is that the devil got in
So I would like
this
to
position.
understand how that's permissible.
Before the hearing was,
It doesn't matter. We all are abiding by the same rules.
I will take that down.
We will go off the record.
So right after Pam Bondi, you know, left some sulfur in whatever room that she was in. Right after that, you know, Hillary Clinton was like, all right, you know what I'm saying? Hold my Hennessy. If she wanna, you know what I mean? She wanna act like a devil on the stand. I'm gonna go ahead, hold my Hennessy. I'm gonna do better than her. And she got up there in her deposition and was acting like entitled brat. You know what I mean? And you know how Hillary is. And she was showing her fangs, her and Bill being very pompous, screaming on these people, almost going off script and shit.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
So I would like to understand how that's permissible.
Before the hearing was,
It doesn't matter. We all are abiding by the same rules.
I will take that down.
Yeah,
So
well.
I would like to take a break at this moment.
Yeah,
I'd like to have
I'm
a
done
conversation
for now.
Yeah, Hillary was up. Yeah, she was throwing her shit around. She was throwing her shit around. Okay. Yeah, her and Bill. And then nobody is really talking about that. That's been swept under the rugs and whatnot. Interestingly enough, that's been swept underneath the rugs. All right. Let's get into this though. Let's get into this as well. Shout out to all of my family out there in the New Orleans area, the NO and whatnot. Found out that the Essence Fest was owing $1 million. Shout out to the Essence Fest. You know what I'm talking about? That horrible rebranding when it was taken over by the people who don't even know anything about the Essence Fest, and they drove that shit into the ground.
So last year when y'all had your commentary about Essence Fest, I shut the fuck up. Born and raised in New Orleans. Daddy people, mama people, both. Louisiana. You hear me? I watched the change in Essence Fest from me remembering as a little girl to last year, 2025. I watched y'all discourse back and forth. The African diaspora this, the African diaspora that, New Orleans culture this, New Orleans culture that. And the bottom line is that introducing the African diaspora to Essence Fest made it go bankrupt. You could argue with your mom. I watched them push out local vendors. I watched it all. I watched them not incorporate local talent as it had done before. I watched it all. And I shut the fuck up and I let y'all run y'all mouth and defending everybody. And look at where we are now. Other cultures speaking ill will on us indigenous peoples. Showing their true colors. Jollof and jambalaya. Y'all remember that?
I might not know everything in the world, but what I do know moving forward is that people are gonna have to back up off of the black thing, the Black American thing. Like that ship right there, that ship has set sail and they throwing everybody off board. So the Africanization of certain brands and all of that, yeah, that shit is over with. It's gonna hit a brick wall. It's a failed experiment. I would say abort mission. You know what I mean? If that was anybody's quote unquote business plan, if you had that in your long game, yeah, I would abandon that. That's not gonna work. The pushback, the delineation that's being felt right now, I would advise these brands, leave it alone. Don't try to Africanize no American shit. Rock out with what the fuck you got, perfect that, but leave this shit alone. Okay, leave this shit alone. The cultural exchange program is canceled. It ain't working. No disrespect. I feel that there should be a mandatory 5-year re-education period, a quote unquote programming, a unlearning, a relearn period of at least 5 years, and then we probably could go back at this shit. And I'm speaking about relearning on both sides. Niggas need to know about y'all, and y'all damn sure need to know about us. Okay? They damn sure need to know 5 years of re-educating everybody around the world with melanin and whatnot, because they just finding out about melanin around the world. Great. Fucking awesome. You know what I'm talking about? Whoop-de-doo. But give them 5. They need 5 years to really learn. Let them, you know, people. It should be some mandatory jazz classes. It should be some mandatory blues. It should be some mandatory 70s hip hop shit. Like there should be a test. There should be like an orientation. This should be a part of rites of passage. It should be a part of the package. You feel me? Like this should be a part of the green card test, my genius. Cause I'm like, that's what we you know, to alleviate, because anything other than that is just gonna be a back and forth is gonna turn into Rwanda, Hotel Rwanda on you. Like, everybody needs time to re-educate and relearn and unlearn. It's a lot of shit to unlearn. A lot. And then when we come back and reconnect, the connection is gonna be connecting. But it ain't gonna be, it will not work if we don't even know who the hell we are, and then other people are coming in this bitch with a Hollywood a Nickelodeon VH1 version of us. Ain't gonna work. A World Star version of us, not gonna work. A Tasha K version of us is not gonna work, my G. That's opening up the left flank. We trying to close the flanks. We trying to close this shit up. We just getting off of Alex Haley, my niggas. We just finding out their roots was plagiarized. Niggas is unlearning Kuta Kente. Okay? And then the Kentes are countering. The Kentes is out here countering. They trying to counter the counter. So it's like, let us have a real conversation with our brothers from the diaspora. I see people from the diaspora, it's like they know that they don't need to claim us. They claiming us on this green card tax. They don't need to claim us. The year of return and all of that. They don't need that shit. Is you know what I mean? Man down, abort mission. It doesn't. It's okay. It's okay. It's all right. Y'all don't need to claim us on y'all taxes. Let's just have the conversation. Let's have the intellectual conversation with my brothers from Nigeria and them other places where they wild book smart and whatnot, the Cheikh Anta Diop students and whatnot. Let's have a closed door session without the white savior around, without Caesar Bourgeois or some French nigga in the room, and we can hash out the real history versus the stuff that they were pushing on National Geographic and Hollywood. We gotta dash away all that shit. That's all that needs to all get thrown out. That needs to all get thrown out. What Jesse Jackson's demise or his passing, right, during a celestial event, what is that indicative of? It's the ending of a whole entire era. He represents legions of our people, right? There are certain people in our there's certain melanated people, black people, that they represent legions. They're archetypes that represent legions. When they go, legions go with them. They are the face of generations and whatnot. They are the archetypes of said generations. So his departure, right, bespoke, it's indicative, it's symbolic of his entire quote unquote you know, all of that is going in this fire horse year that we're in. It all has to go. It is all being consumed. That is a part of the purification, right? That is a part of the purification aspect, to where things are going to get burnt up, and all of that Boule shit, all of that John Lewis shit, all of that Black Caucus, and yes sir, and we the glorified help, and you know what I mean, victimhood and all of that, we shall overcome, and like that all was Messy Jesse. That was all tied to him. Didn't say that he was the one that pushed it all and whatnot, but it was all a part of it. It was all in his egregore. It was all tied to him. It was a part of his makeup. Okay, that shit is over with. The last one left standing. The last one left bobbling his bobblehead. You know what I'm talking about? The last man standing is Mr. Splinter, Al Sharpton himself, Albert Sharpton, because Charlie Rango just left. Nobody made no big thing about Charlie Strangle Rango. But if anybody's from Harlem, I literally was just watching a documentary about the Mark 125 and how the Mark 125 was a staple in New York City. And when they closed down the Mark, the same exact Mark that we were standing in front of, ladies and gentlemen, we were posted up. When you see all of these vintage videos with Sarnetta and he has the lynchings and whatnot, that is in front of the Mart 125, which was the Black Mall in Harlem. Okay. And it was very, 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 it played a pivotal role in the destruction of Harlem. It played a pivotal role. Okay. And Charlie Rangel and a few other the politicians, and also some clergy like Calvin Butts, right, who is also no longer with us, right? They sold us out. They were the ones that sold us out. And coincidentally enough, to bring everybody back into the DeLorean and remind us of some history, it was the Clintons moving to Harlem that changed the topography of Harlem forever. It was Bill Clinton leaving the White House and deciding to come to Harlem, 125th Street, that literally changed everything in Harlem, destroyed the quote unquote economy, and it ushered in what they known as regentrification. And what is the gentry? The gentry are the elite. The gentry are the Harlem soul. The gentry are the elite. So when you regentrify it, you bring the elites back in. So the rent started going up. Everybody, the vendors got packed up off the street and whatnot. They showed their black asses for the Clintons, bro. Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton didn't even spend one whole day probably in Harlem after they moved their operations to 125th Street. They would be out there praying for that nigga. They would be out there singing. They would be frying chicken and fish in front of the building that he had an office in. They was out there playing. They was singing. They was dancing. You know what I'm talking about? They was cutting the rug out there. You know what I mean? Oh man, our people was acting like moving on up. They was acting like Jesus came to Harlem. Eric Garner got unalived in 2016. The Clintons came to Harlem in like 99 or 95. When did they come to Harlem, anybody? They came to Harlem in the 90s, the late 90s, after Clinton left the office. You know how when the president leaves office and they go and they go and set, like, you know, they go into ride off into the sunset and shit like that. This nigga rode off into Harlem after all he did with crack, after all he did with the crime bill, after all he did with all of the fuckery and getting neck in office and getting quote unquote whatchamacallit, All right, so he came right before the towers fell. How about that? He must have came in Harlem right before the towers fell. So the day that he dropped his motherfucking his coat off, and him and Killary dropped off their boxes in the Harlem on 125th Street, the next day the buildings fell down. So once again, 20 some odd years later, right? The effects of the Clintons are still being felt, right? Them coming uptown, moving on up like George Jefferson and them. No, the Europeans were not going past what is that? Is that 101st or is that 86th Street? They were not going past 86th Street on the train at all. The minute that Bill Clinton decided he wanted to nestle himself amongst black people, this is during the rise of Khalid Muhammad. This is during the rise of quote unquote Farrakhan was still making noise and whatnot. The gods and the earths and whatnot, they still had their shit going on. They didn't go past 96th Street. They did not go past 96th Street. If you saw a European person on the train headed uptown after 96th Street, they was either going to get them some loving from a brother. They either was going to get them some stroking. They was going to strokers, or they was going to get some drugs. Real talk. Or they was the Dominicans, me no black, and they stayed on the train, passed, and went up to the Bronx. But they wasn't getting off of no goddamn 125th Street before William Clinton came up there. Hell no. It was either the trick babies or they was going to get some work. You know what I'm talking about? Because they wasn't even coming to the Apollo like that. Real talk. Go and look at the old episodes with a black woman with the afro to be in the front row and whatnot. It wasn't no white folk in there. It wasn't no white folks in the audience. That shit came later on. Yeah, or they were either going to Metro North Station on 125th Street. But it seemed like they found a way around to get to that. They were not on the train past certain stops. I promise you. We would know when to get a seat because the minute 86th Street came, it would empty out and then black people would get a seat. Yes, that's when exactly. That's when you got a seat on the train. Everybody knows that. That shit would clear out like somebody let off a goddamn smoke alarm, a smoke bomb. That's how much they got off the train. So, woe on to whoever brought that man into Harlem, because that was the worst thing that they could ever do, is to invite the Clintons, right? Like they say, you invite them in. They couldn't just go into, they had to be invited in on some Remick type shit. And Calvin Butts, Charlie Rangel, all of them are gone. They sold out their people and they are not even here anymore. They're all gone. The majority of the people that sold out Harlem, they couldn't even enjoy the sellout. They all gone. The last bobblehead that's left is Albert. You know what I'm talking about? The last one that's left is Albert. All of them niggas that was snakes with him, they was selling our people out, they all gone. That shit done ate them up. You know what I'm talking about? They all gone. And it's like the amount of damage that they did to our people by selling them out. You got to remember, we talking about aggressive campaigns against melanated property owners, black women and black men who bought these brownstones in the 50s and whatnot. They endured during the crack era. They endured during the scourge and whatnot. They saw their neighbors turn into zombies and shit like that. And they got chased out of New York by these slumlords and these economic hitmen that Charlie Rangel, Calvin Butts, and a bunch of these boule niggas turned on. They turned these people and let them loose like rabid dogs against our people on Strivers Row, all of that brownstone, because unbeknownst to people, prime real estate in both Brooklyn, prime real estate in Harlem, prime real estate in what they call these hoods like Bed-Stuy and shit like that. Brownstones, prime. I'm talking about the shit that you seen on the Cosby Show. You know? You know? So let's continue. Let's continue. Oh, let's just finish doing what she was doing.
Where y'all at now? Cause last I heard, Richie Lou Dennis was going bankrupt. Last I heard, venues wasn't getting paid for. Crickets? You mean to tell me he's scammed? Oh, he's scammed.
Y'all gotta be ready for this melanin tonight, man. I seen people getting mad at Chocolate Godiva because she a little too. What did she remind you, a Doechii or something? They was mad at Chocolate Godiva in the last show, but y'all get it, man. Get used to her. She ain't going nowhere. This fine thing right here from New Orleans, she had to let y'all know. Y'all can't necessarily go up in people's home to do shit like hoodoo and magic. You know, shit gonna come back eventually. Y'all gotta work better with them. Yes, I do. Yes. Rudolph Giuliani, 666. Rudolph Giuliani, who came in 92 and got rid of David Dinkins, right? And then basically pillaged all of the programs and shit like that. Giuliani, who was the 9/11 mayor, right? Who's more guilty than he is innocent, who the small hats utilized to take the mafia, the Italian mafia, out so the Jewish mob could take over New York. You know what I mean? They used him for that. He's in bed with all type of crazy ass, he's a cross-dresser. Let's just talk about Giuliani for a moment. He's the worst of the worst. There's a special place in Beelzebub's mansion for his ass. But anyway, he was the one who kicked off a lot of ish in New York City. He was the one that started a lot of the BS and whatnot. And then murders came under his watch. Well, before him, they had Yusef Hawkins. And then after him, and then during Giuliani, that's stop and frisk. That's just throwing it, that's just locking everybody up. That's all of that BS type ish. You know what I'm saying? So, fire bun Giuliani, fire bun. You know what I'm saying? When anything wicked happens to Giuliani and people wonder why New Yorkers get excited, it's because that he got karma that's still waiting for his ass. Like, he ain't even get his big one yet. He did not even get his big one yet. You know what I'm talking about? I be seeing him and it's looking like he's suffering slowly and whatnot, but he didn't even get his big one. That nigga was very demonic. I promise you. You know what I'm talking about? Very. So let us continue.
Suicidal, and I would never take my own life.
Not yet. Not you. Not yet with you. Hold on. Let's see. Beyond just watching let's see. A lot of World War III shit. Part 1, we met the. Let's see.
Have you seen this? Now is time to watch this.
Okay, let's see.
And today, Jennifer and I and other history, anti-Semitism.
We have some news right now. Military service.
So this is the key question. What?
My dude been cooking. Hold on. I ain't gonna put it.
Does he not understand? John.
Damn, I guess we gotta go right into it then.
In part one, we met the...
All right.
Part one, we met the billionaire, but money is just the fuel in it.
Okay, we're gonna walk into this shit then. I guess we're gonna walk into it. Let's go from here.
Suicidal, and I would never take my own life. And when they meet those who believe, they say, we believe. But when they are alone with their evil ones, they say, indeed we are with you, we were only mocking.
There was a guy called Sabbatai Zevi. Sabbatai means Saturn, and he was promoted as the Messiah, the Jewish Messiah. This is in the 1600s. He had a massive following, Jewish following, and the Sultan of the Ottoman Empire demanded that he prove he was the Messiah or converted to Islam. So he converted to Islam, and they became known as the Donma, which means to turn, but they didn't turn.
And of the people are some who say we believe in Allah and the last day, but they are not believers. They think to deceive Allah and those who believe, but they deceive not except themselves and perceive it not.
And then the next century, along came Jacob Frank, and Jacob Frank took Sabbatianism on to another level of evil. He claimed that he was a reincarnation of Zevi, and he moved forward with this whole concept of the Donma, where you appear to be something like a Judaism or Roman Catholicism or whatever. Well, actually, you are this Sabbatian Frankist cult, and you manipulate or have yourself manipulated into positions of power in the...
Now, we have to be very, we got to understand that when they talk about, we got to do the history on the Persians and who they are in history and who exactly they are in this story and whatnot, okay? And also, how do they feature into end time prophecies, eschatology, right? And also them as Aryans, right? We got to do the knowledge on who they are, even as they are seen as the Amalek, right? All of this is important to put into context as to where we are right now.
These different religions and different cultures, but actually you're representing this Sabbatian cult all along.
And when you see them, their forms please you, and if they speak, you listen to their speech. They are as if they are propped up on blocks of wood. They think every shout is against them. They are the enemy, so beware of them.
And the Rothschilds are Sabbatians, Sabbatian Frankists. And funnily enough, you had this connection between Mayer Amschel Rothschild, who basically started the Rothschild dynasty. You had Adam Weishaupt, this Jesuit-educated Jewish guy, and they created the Bavarian Illuminati.
Now, it would almost be remiss of me to not mention David Icke and the facts that, as much as we may see him as like a laughable figure, he's somewhat of a dismissive figure now. Let's just keep it 1,000. David Icke in the early 2000s, late 90s, was a very loud voice in this space, what they would call consciousness. It started with David Icke as conspiracies, not necessarily consciousness. And I don't think too many people make the delineation or the differentiation as to what there's something called a conscious community, but then there's also the conspiracy theorist community, right? And a lot of us started in a conspiracy theory community. I know I did. I started dealing with conspiracy theories, and it led me into consciousness and whatnot. So, here he is. He put me on to Credo Mutua. A broken clock is right 2 times out of the day, right? So in his era, when it was like Zachariah Sitchin with the Matrix books, in their era, this is not his era, But when his era, when it was his era, he was on top of that shit. Let's just keep it. I'm not that egotistical to whereas I won't even admit that. In his era, him and Jordan Maxwell, Mr. Behold a Pale Horse, they was Himothy. They was Himothy. And then when he brought us Credo, you know what I'm talking about? Like the South African Crip Mac, you know what I mean? It was over after that. You know what I mean? That shit opened up my minds to something way beyond what I could even think. Cause they was going in. They was going in. But consciousness is not necessarily conspiracy theory. But many of us started with conspiracy theory. That's the VCR days. Yes. You know what I mean? You could not necessarily dodge conspiracy theory. So when you see what Tucker Carlson and them is doing, when you see what's going on with the far right and whatnot, that's conspiracy theory. That's not consciousness. It's a difference. That's not necessarily consciousness. They're just dealing with conspiracy theory. You know? Credo Mutwa is a Batiman. You know, Credo Mutwa is he's an ancestor and whatnot. He's an ancestor, you know. I don't know what his orientation is when he was alive and whatnot. I just know that he was the Zulu Crip Mac. That's all I know. You know, I'm about to put the tat on his forehead and all of that. But he taught me about some of the Dogon. He taught me about the shapeshifters. He taught me about some things that I was like, I went down a rabbit hole, and it kind of like opened me up to a whole new reality of not conspiracy. This is when I got into Credo Mutwa, I started getting into consciousness. You know, I started going down the consciousness rabbit hole. It brought me into that. So yeah, that was just a disclaimer about Icke, because certain people might be seeing Icke popping up now and be like, oh, he's going in. No, he's not. No, he's not. He was saying shit. He was going harder 40 years ago. You understand? He was going harder 40 years ago. This is the domesticated Therazine version of David Icke. You know what I mean? Son's been tuned up. He's been tuned up. He's been neutered, my niggas. He's been neutered. This is not the David Icke of before.
In 1776, what a lot of history doesn't include is that the third person in that trinity that created that Illuminati was Jacob Frank, who was a friend and associate of Mayor Amstel Rothschild. And Frank moved in on the Roman Catholic Church and basically took that over. It was the Sabbatian Rothschilds and Sabbatians in general that created modern Israel.
I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Behold, I will make them the synagogue of Satan, which they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship at thy feet.
Sabbatai Zevi declared himself to be the Jewish Messiah in the year 1666.
So I'm bringing all of this up because many of us are beginning to hear words like Sabbatian Frankish. This was something I had to whisper about a year or two ago, but now so much people are talking about it. It's like Candace talked about it. A few other people brought it to the mainstream, so you could talk about it now, right? I just want people to know, right? Especially the ones that are doing the research, because what is going on right now, in what is going on, that we're getting these highlights and shit like that on our timeline. What's taking place is considered to be a biblical end of times war, right? And I just want us to understand who the players are, and you know, and what their rightful quote unquote storyline is, versus what's the narrative versus what the news may be telling you. I mean, because propaganda right now is at an all-time high. Ooh, they turning up the goddamn, they are turning all of the pilots on the stove on. They are firing up, ladies and gentlemen. So you do not want to get caught in that crossfire of all of these falsehoods and this goddamn propaganda that they're throwing around. Okay, because they are going to trick certain people into doing what? They're going to trick certain people into basically rooting for the wrong side, you know, because somebody will be like, this don't got nothing to do with me. Says who? Says who? Has everything to do with you. Okay? It has everything to do with you. At the end of the day, you're always the main character. You're, or still, as much as you may want to avoid it and whatnot, you're always the main character. So always know that these are the people who are cosplaying you. They did it hundreds of years ago. They decided that they wanted to be you and whatnot. Please understand, this is not no walk in the park. This ain't no, you know what I mean?
This false messiah led the largest messiah movement in Jewish history and attracted more than half the population of European Jews. How did he do it? By promising to return the Jews to their ancestral homeland in Palestine. Sabbatai Zevi made everything that was holy unholy. He rejected the rules of the Jewish holy books and every standard of Jewish decency. There would be no.
So when they read in these emails and they making all of these fake ass discover, oh my goodness, I don't believe. Yes, you do believe, and yes, you do know. They've been doing this for a long ass time. They've been behaving like this for hundreds of years, if not thousands. None of this shit is new. Anybody who studies any form of history, anybody that has been initiated into what they call secret societies, this is the information that they be getting. This is nothing new. Do not allow the media, do not allow people with the mayonnaise meltdown fool you. Don't allow none of these people to trick you and whatnot. They are fully aware as to what the fuck is going on. All of them emails speak to behaviors that these people were getting put to the stake and getting burnt for years. None of it is new. It's only new to you. That's why they're playing in your face and whatnot and acting like this is some new shit. It's only new because you found out about it. That's the only reason it is new. It's not new because they always known about this. They knew the people from Western Europe know why they was packing up niggas from Eastern Europe. The people from Ireland, Germany, France, they know everything about what was going on in the Ukraine. They know everything about why they was packing up the Polacks and whatnot. They know a lot of things, but they don't want to talk about it. But they have to talk about it because it's being exposed and whatnot. But don't fall for the okie dokes. They're still lying.
More guilt or sin or right or wrong. No more sexual taboos. No more 10 commandments. No more fasting. Instead, there would be feasting. Sabbatai Zevi's immoral leadership finally fell from grace when the Sultan of Turkey threatened him with torture unless he converted to Islam. Sabbatai converted to Islam, but he brought his infectious evil theology with him. 1 century later, Jacob Frank proclaimed himself to be the reincarnation of Sabbatai Zevi and the living Messiah for all Jews. Not even Sabbatai Zevi was as evil as Jacob Frank and his disciples. Jacob Frank rejected traditional Judaism. He reversed the truth and told his followers, since we can't all be saints, let's all be sinners. The best way to imitate God, said Frank, is to cross every boundary, transgress every taboo, and mix, as God did, the sacred with the profane. Orgies, incest, rape, and sexual intercourse with children, including sodomy on young boys.
So, if I worked at CBS or if I worked at Fox 5 and I really wanted to teach the people and I really wanted to say, hey, maybe all of the behaviors that I'm reading about in the emails of Epstein, maybe all of these behaviors that these grown adults were participating in, maybe all of that shit, maybe I could cross-reference it in this book. You feel me? And maybe they were just carrying out all of the tenets of this quote unquote book. But nobody has done that yet. You didn't even hear nobody make the comparison in the media and whatnot, just to show you that it's a crocker-ish, that they're not telling you, they will never really tell you the truth, because all they have to do is say, hey, what they're doing, what they've been doing and what's being exposed and whatnot is literally a secret society of a crypto religion that many of these people are participating in, while on the surface they're acting like one thing, but behind closed doors there's something completely different.
We're no longer sinful.
Beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. And they followed instead what the devils had recited during the reign of Solomon, teaching people magic, and they knew that whoever purchased the magic would not have the
when you do the knowledge on this, then this makes sense why they have rabbis who are the CEOs of corn companies. Then it makes sense why so many of them in Hollywood deal with debauchery and all type of satanic things. Then it makes sense as to why all of these rumors about what's going on in those tunnels in Brooklyn and whatnot, it begins to make sense, because you're dealing with a group of people who literally their religion is to do what? Transgress against what they call righteousness. Their existence is to transgress. They are practicing inversion. And what is inversion? Inversion is to do everything opposite of what they say. That's what an inversion is.
hereafter any share. So woe to those who write the scripture with their own hands, then say, this is from Allah, in order to exchange it for a small price.
In 1773, Jacob Frank traveled to Frankfurt, Germany, the birthplace of the Illuminati. That's where he formed an unholy alliance with Adam Weishaupt and Mayor Amschel Rothschild's banking dynasty. The ambition of the Rothschild dynasty was to win control of the world's gold, central banks, and wealth. The Rothschilds sent John Jacob Astor, Jacob Schiff, and Paul Warburg to America, where they influenced the privatization of the Federal Reserve banking system and the dismantling of the American Constitution. When this unholy alliance of conscienceless men was seeded, a cancerous war against humanity erupted.
Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. For it is a shame even to speak of those things which are done of them in secret.
Sabbatian Frankish expanded their movement by masquerading as converts to other religions. They converted to Catholicism and to Islam, where they embedded themselves and spread their Luciferian infection as closeted crypto Jews. The Frankists traded their wives and daughters with members and with powerful non-members who they needed to seduce into their cult.
You see many of them hastening into sin and aggression and the consuming of what is unlawful. Wretched indeed is what they have been doing. There are certain men, crept and unawares, ungodly men, turning the grace of our God into lawlessness.
Not the spooky music. So when they want to point out, you know, because I have something personal against the people who would talk out the side of their neck and call my people uncivilized and loud and, you know, ghetto, and they have so many names for us, you know. These were some of the people who told us we would be nothing in school and whatnot. Some of my teachers happened to come from the same synagogue. You know, they would try to compare their plight with ours and whatnot and trauma bond with us whole time. They were trying to destiny swap, and I got issues with that. You know what I mean? Because you know, they played in my face the most out of all people. These are the people that really been playing in my face, and they behind the hospitals. You know, they behind a lot of shit. You know what I mean? So now that you know about inversion, crypto Jews, you heard the name crypto. We're not talking about Bitcoin. Crypto Jews only mean like how Benjamin Netanyahu is a crypto Jew, because on the surface he's wearing a Jewish name that's not even, he changed his name, that's not even his real name, and he's not practicing the religion, the traditions at all. So he's just playing, he's wearing the outfit, he's cosplaying, he is what they would call posing. He's not even practicing the shit. So that's a crypto, right? So here's a crypto right here. Here is the most dangerous man in the world right now. Here is the most dangerous man in the world right now. He's one of the four horsemen, the pale-faced horsemen that I've been warning us about for eons. But it's becoming very clear as to who this man is, and it's only going to become clearer as the days and the months and the years go by.
Part 1. We met the billionaire. But money is just the fuel and it needs an engine. To understand the plan being executed in the highest levels of our government today, you have to understand the man who wrote the source code. This is the origin story of Curtis Yarvin, the architect villain who turned a personal grudge into a blueprint for the end of democracy. Every villain has a wound that never heals. For Yarvin, that wound opened in 1993. He was a certified prodigy, a math genius who skipped 3 grades and entered high school at 12. He graduated from Brown University in 1992 at just 19, then headed to Berkeley for a PhD. But his real home wasn't the physical world. It was Usenet, the early elite internet. Since 1990, these forums were his sanctuary, a meritocracy of the mind where being the smartest meant being at the top of the food chain. Then in September 1993, the gates collapsed. AOL gave millions of ordinary Americans access to Usenet. The normies flooded in. To a narcissistic prodigy, these weren't new users. They were a contamination. Yarvin watched as the intellectual world he ruled was drowned in noise. It was called Eternal September, and to Yarvin, it was the barbarians sacking Rome. He spent 14 years nursing this grievance while working as a software engineer, watching the internet he loved become a playground for the masses. By 2007, the wound had festered into an ideology. Under the name Mencius Moldbug, he launched a manifesto for revenge. He branded the world's institutions, the media, the universities, the government, as the cathedral. To him, democracy was just Eternal September on a national scale, the masses destroying the elite. His solution? The reset. A total reboot of society into a corporate monarchy where a CEO king has absolute power. This wasn't just a blog. It was a way to paywall civilization to keep the prodigies safe from the normals. Yarvin had the blueprints and the bitterness, but he was just a voice in the void. Meanwhile, our billionaire from part 1 was failing at his own escape. He was trying to build Galt's Gulch on the ocean, spending millions to exit society. But his projects were sinking. He had the money, but he was missing the vocabulary. In part 2B, the architect finally meets the billionaire. I'll show you the handshake that turned a fringe blog into a political earthquake. Like and follow to see how the code became the plan, and share to spread the word.
Now, my dude is surgical with it. He's been dropping shit on Peter Thiel and Curtis Yarvin and Nick Land. Curtis Yarvin, y'all. I spoke about him in my last lecture, not the one that I just did, in the one that I did. I believe it might have been the MAGA Fest Destiny, right? Yarvin is very, very he's a main figure. He's a central player. He's the one behind JD Vance. He's the one behind Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel is the puppet master who has J.D. Vance in the White House. J.D. Vance is the archetype for the CEO monarch. Trump is more so like the harbinger. He's not the one. He's the harbinger. J.D. Vance is the one. He's the one who they are going to, quote unquote, usher in as this antichrist type. You know what I mean? Mr. Eyeliner, who Nicki Minaj called the assassin and whatnot. But we'll continue to teach more about Yarvin and the dark enlightenment, the cathedral, and all of these things. But do your due diligence and look it up. You know, go and do your due diligence and go down the Yarvin rabbit hole. You will be it's gonna open up your mind. Okay, so let us continue. All right, let us continue. And I bring him up because I want you to know that a lot of the shit that you're seeing is planned. It's all planned. It's all a part of their agenda. Don't fall for so much things and think that nothing is happening that's not supposed to happen. All right. But check this out.
It's time to watch this. It is a documentary called Till Kingdom Come, and it's disturbing. It follows a real life evangelical community in Kentucky that fiercely funds and defends Israel. But here's the twist. Their support isn't really about Jewish safety or anything like that. It's about the apocalypse. They have been so brainwashed, so indoctrinated and fear-mongered into the apocalypse happening, and that Israel is their savior, that this is what they rely on. They believe that backing Israel fulfills biblical prophecy and speeds up the second coming of Christ. Meanwhile, their own town is drowning in poverty. Jobs are gone. Infrastructure is crumbling. Their money is being sent overseas because prophecy comes first. This film doesn't exaggerate it. It literally just shows you the receipts, and it leaves you with one uncomfortable question. When foreign policy is rooted in doomsday belief, who is actually in control?
Their people, the Jews, are better than all of us. They're better than all of us. And you need to accept that.
So all your loose change that you have from home, you bring that change to school. Everything that we get, we will actually cash it in and make a check out to the Fellowship for Christians and Jews.
This is where, with the kids, where we start our indoctrination. That's where it started with me. When I was a child, that I was taught about the support that the church owes to Israel.
Every nation that has blessed Israel, God has blessed them. And every nation that has opposed Israel, God has been in opposition to them. And I'm going to stand up for
these goddamn Bible thumpers. These goddamn Bible thumpers. Now, what you see with these kids, right? Just throw that on a whole bunch of quote unquote older Caucasoids who are literally super indoctrinated by these evangelicals and whatnot. That's all that shit with the Charlie Kirk people and all of that. Turning Point USA type shit. You know what I mean? That's all that crazy shit. You know what I'm talking about? These people is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. But check this out. This is when it gets close. This one is shit. This one it really gets dangerous, right? Because when you have these kooks and whatnot, it's all good. But what happens when these kooks get into power? What happens when these kooks get next to the goddamn nuclear button?
See the western wall of the Temple Mount, the western wall tunnels.
Just for preferences, ladies and gentlemen, this is Pistol Pete. This is the Secretary of War right here. This is the one that's leading this quote unquote war against Iran. This is Pistol motherfucking Pete right here.
Today, Jennifer and I and others had a chance to go see the western wall of the Temple Mount, the Western Wall tunnels so much of the old city. And as you stand there, you can't help but behold the miracle before you. And it got me thinking about another miracle that I hope all of you don't see too far away. Because 1917 was a miracle, 1948 was a miracle, 1967 was a miracle, 2017, the declaration of Jerusalem as the capital was a miracle, and there's no reason why the miracle of the reestablishment of the temple on the Temple Mount is not possible. I don't know how it would happen. You don't know how it would happen, but I know that it could happen. That's all I know. And a step in that process, a step in every process, is the recognition that facts and activities on the ground truly matter. And that's why going and visiting Judea and Samaria, understanding that sovereignty, the very sovereignty of Israeli soil, and Israeli cities, locations, is a critical next step to showing the world that this is the land for Jews and the land of Israel. And I believe, as was mentioned, he said you need to, what was mentioned is you need to buy the ticket. Don't just wish for 40 years to win the lottery, buy the ticket. I would submit to you, in light of the support you have in Washington, D.C., the support you have amongst patriotic Americans, amongst evangelical Christians, amongst believers, amongst Republicans, even amongst some Democrats who can barely say it anymore in Washington. Buy the ticket, take your action, do what needs to be done here in Israel, because I truly believe this is a moment where America will have your back. You have Donald Trump in the White House, you have Mike Pence as Vice President, you have Nikki Haley at the UN, you have true believers in Israel and America that have your back.
That some troops have been told. We have some news right now. Military service members are complaining that some troops have been told that bombing Iran and going to war was all part of, quote, God's divine plan. It's one of the crazier stories you'll hear today. It was first reported by John Larson, an independent journalist, and has since been reported on by the Huffington Post and others. The Military Religious Freedom Foundation has received a litany of complaints about religious ideology seeping into military orders. This has happened since the United States went to war with Iran. According to the president and founder of MRFF, the Military Religious Freedom Foundation, he says that essentially after the bombing began, service members started calling this foundation and letting them know that commanders were trying to tell them, quote, don't worry, it's all part of God's plan. One of the commanders allegedly cited the book of Revelation, the section specifically related to the Armageddon and the, quote, imminent return of Jesus Christ. And a non-commissioned officer said that the messaging is actively destroying military morale and unit cohesion. Pretty significant news. Spread the word. Follow along for more.
Told you. It's all the Crusades, right? They're not even hiding it anymore. Okay? They're charging up their shoulders with a motherfucking Drake song, nigga, God's plan.
Anti-Semitism is one of the most pervasive sins found threaded throughout the world.
It is.
How far back does anti-Semitism go in recorded history?
Since the Amalekites first attacked the children of Israel in the desert after they were freed by the Lord from the bondage in Egypt, that's when anti-Semitism began. And that spirit of Amalek, the pure, evil, irrational hatred, is still with us to this very day.
People who are watching this program, they probably hear a topic like this, anti-Semitism, Jew hatred. Those are strong words. And they think immediately, well, I'm not anti-Semitic. I support Israel and the Jewish people. Why is this book important for them to read?
It's important because to support Israel and the Jewish people in your heart is good. To do so with your actions is better. And to do so with a full understanding of what you're defending and fighting against is best. This book enables one who is just starting to learn or who considers themselves learned to further their education about this vital topic. Anti-Semitism brings the curse of God to many nations. The Bible says, God speaking, I will curse those who curse you. That's God's promise.
When it
Strike and strike and strike and strike and strike and strike and strike until you have victory. For every enemy that is aligned against you, let there be that we would strike the ground, for you will give us victory, God. I hear a sound of abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. I hear a sound of shouting and singing. I hear a sound of victory. I hear a sound of an abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. I hear a sound of an abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. The Lord says it is done. The Lord says it is done. The Lord says it is done. For I hear victory, 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 victory in the corridors of heaven. In the corridors of heaven, victory, 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 victory. Right now, Hamanda ata ata rakate de baka sanda ata ambo osa kata rite.
Come on, son. Come on, son. Are you serious? Are you son? I'd have threw a shoe at her if I was in that audience, nigga. Does she sound like a fushnik, nigga?
For angels have even been dispatched from Africa right now. Africa right now. Africa right now. From Africa right now. They're coming here. They're coming here. In the name of Jesus. From South America. They're coming here. They're coming here. They're coming here.
Remember, the church, they have legions in Africa and in Latin America. That is their standing army, ladies and gentlemen. Understand, you looking at shit through the lens of color. They're looking at it as to who they have brainwashed. They brainwash people through trauma, through poverty, through all type of shit. They know who their front line is. They know who their disposable front line of crash outs are. They know who their crash outs are. You feel me? They understand who their crash outs are. They had enough Africans bowing down to them. They got enough quote unquote Latin Americans bowing down and giving them their souls. They know who's gonna crash out, and they know who their batteries. That's why they're calling on them. Even the ones that deal with the magic and whatnot, they still are tied in a way. They still can pull on them. They're calling. You see, she's calling on them. She's summoning the Africans in the quote unquote. She's speaking in tongues because her ass is possessed. The fuck. She's not summoning no African deities. She's not tapping into no Aboriginal. She's tapping into whatever the type of fucking demonic forces that there's some, she's out there spirit cooking.
They're coming here from Africa, from South America. Angelic forces, angelic reinforcement, angelic reinforcement, angelic reinforcement. Pika hata anda ata ora bata rata anda eke manda rasata. For I hear the sound of victory. I hear the sound of victory.
I would even go as far as to say that a whole bunch of people are summoning our deities and our spirits and our powers and whatnot. Yeah, I would definitely say that.
I hear the sound of victory. I hear the sound of victory.
She cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. You know what I'm talking about? She cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Let's balance that out. Come on, Chocolate Godiva. We need some chocolate. We need some melanin up in here.
Think they crying now? Hezbollah ain't even did their big one. Bitch, get in here, get in here, get in here, get in here, because y'all ain't gonna believe this shit. Now, I know it's a lot of information to digest, and I know that most people are looking at Iran right now, but y'all haven't even heard shit when it comes to Hezbollah, let me tell you. Okay, so Hezbollah, while Iran is working on both America and Israel at the same time, and I do mean work, because baby, the IRGC is taking them through there. You hear me? Taking them through there. They in it. Hezbollah was on the back end, or the north, I should say, fucking Israel up, okay? Got them Israelis crying. So, boom, the boys are back in town. And what do I mean by that? They blowing Markava tanks the fuck up. Hey, y'all, real good, I've got us. You're a hood newscaster. I should stop saying that. I'm just from around the way, y'all. From Divine News Network, here to bring you the geopolitics and the kikis from overseas. Let's go ahead and get into it, because, baby, this is everything the kiki about, okay? So, yesterday, Hezbollah, bitch, tell me why they get out in the fucking field. And they said, if it's war, then let it be that, bitch. Remember, we tried to be nice about it. Now, Hezbollah, since last year, or 2024, since November of 2024, it had been said that Hezbollah was completely depleted. They got all their shit, da-da-da-da. That's what Israel and America was telling the whole world, whole motherfucking time. They was counting and banking on Joseph Ayoun, Nawaf Salam, as well as several other members of the newly formed Lebanese government to find Hezbollah, disarm them so that they could go in and do this to Iran. But the plan failed. Not only did they fail, but in the meantime, between time, Hezbollah was not only able to continue to manufacture their own missiles and bullets and ammunitions, but they also completely re-upped their ranks, and they're paying their soldiers a whole lot more. I mean, a huge percentage more. They was only working for about 10% of what they are given now. You mean to tell me they was white sheeting the fuck out of them soldiers for like a mere $500 to $700, and now they got thousands of dollars? Oh, bitch! They about to have a field fucking day, and that's exactly what they was doing in the motherfucking field. So within the first 5 hours of them being outside, bitch, we outside tonight. Bitch, we outside tonight. They blew up over 5 more Markava tanks. 6 of them by the 7th hour. They not done. Then, bitch, they sent a whole barrage, flooded a bumblebee of drones directly into northern Israel. While that was scaring the fuck out of Israel's northern command, they then decided to send missiles straight to the Haifa port. I mean, whoosh, boom, 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 hitting strategic targets to ensure that the air defense system was completely done with. That means that both the IRGC and Hezbollah would have no problem hitting whatever target they wanted to hit, that they could move the way they want to move, and that now they could really get to the way that they really want to get to. I'm like, no! Keep going. But no, what you mean? Because you mean to tell me remember the last time they was fucking the Israeli soldiers up so bad they couldn't even so much as get to the borderline? They had to beg and plead to allow the Israelis to get in there. This time, bitch, they not only took out the entire Northern Front Command, like the entire air defense systems and everything, but they also hit the power grid in Haifa Port. They hit several other areas in Haifa Port. Then they sat strategically and they waited. They waited for it. They knew Israel was going to do it. They waited. They backed up, waited for Israel to do a full-on invasion and said, let's get to work. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. They outside and they getting brazy out there. I mean, they having fun with these Israeli soldiers. They also fucking up several different parts of the north, sending several ballistic missiles to the point where the Israelis themselves was on the military radio like, y'all didn't tell us these motherfuckers had a bunch of homemade ballistic missiles. These shit is hypersonic, supersonic, hydraulic, funky, fresh. Like, what the fuck? That's too much. I'm not sure why y'all expected less from Hezbollah. I'm not even gonna hold you. I'm not sure why y'all accepted. Why y'all even thought that they was gonna give you nothing more than the best. They outside, bitch. They did warn you, and they gave y'all a full-on orchestra quartet before they even gave you the warning. I mean, they was outside playing in their band shit. They was, I'm gonna whoop your ass, but I gotta hit these notes real quick. I'm gonna finish my orchestra set for the day, and then I'm gonna whoop your ass. But bitch, let me finish first. When they dropped the hottest diss track of the year, but it was in full-on classical orchestra, what did you thought that meant? Because to me, that sounds like some gangster shit. To me, that sounds like a warning. To me, they sound like they preparing. Like that's the calm before the storm. I'm not sure how y'all thought it would be anything other than that, but baby, they outside and they getting busy in these streets. So boom, they out there doing, I mean, they doing the same.
How y'all gonna be mad at somebody the way that they tell they news and y'all not telling no news? How y'all gonna be mad at somebody? Yeah, she gonna sound hood because this is the hood fucking news. I told y'all when I introduced her that we have completed the full circle. We have arrived in Ratchetville, my nigga. When you got ratchets telling the motherfucking news and they dropping facts, regardless of how y'all feel about her chocolate appeal and her chocolate delivery, she's telling the motherfucking news. And it ain't like she up there gossiping about somebody's hair length and somebody's eyelashes. She's dropping the motherfucking news. I done brought women from all nationalities. Nobody said nothing about them, but the minute we put a sister up here to look like Doechii, she's annoying and all. Come on, she's like what? Like what are we doing? What are we doing?
More tricks while doing some new shit and whooping your ass on the northern front, on the ground, all at the same time. Now, Israel, you walk right into that shit. Y'all thought y'all was doing something by targeting 53 southern Lebanese towns and thought that because you was going to hit them fast, hit them hard, hit them high, hit them low, that was going to confuse them. But baby, they outside multitasking like a motherfucker. I mean, they got the soldiers on the ground. The young niggas that's ready to smoke something. They outside. Flipping bodies every which a motherfucking way. At the exact same time, this morning, they decided to send some ballistic missiles into not one, but two separate military bases, one in occupied Palestine, one in the Syrian Golan Heights, okay? The Meron base and the Nahab base, I believe that's what it's called. I think you need to have a little throat action to be able to pronounce that second one. I almost had a stroke trying to say it, but either way, baby, they fucked that base up. You understand me? Damn, they back to their same old tricks. Now, everybody who's anybody know that this is a Hezbollah move right here, boy. They will wait for y'all to get good and comfortable. They'll wait for you. They sit at a distance and wait for y'all to get good and comfortable. Wait for one or two of y'all to lead them back to where the nest of y'all are. Y'all getting good and comfortable. You just sat down, fix your lips to have some lunch. Your mouth is getting real watery. Soon as you pick that fork up to your mouth, kablow! They done blew the whole scene up. Everybody in there, mama, baby, they gone. They dead. They waited till y'all got into gatherings. Soon as you fix your fucking lip for that lunch. You been hungry as shit waiting on that lunch all goddamn day. Soon as you pick that fork up to your mouth, blackout, bitch. If Palestine can't eat, so neither can you. Neither can you. And nobody eating around this motherfucker. Palestine can't eat, you not eating neither, nigga. Now you get to go downstairs and you can eat with the devil. Bitch, I'll see you later. Period. I'm telling you, if Hezbollah not the funniest motherfuckers in the field, I don't know who is. Because they are strategic, but in the most hilarious way. And they multitasking. I don't know if Israel just I feel like they did underestimate the resistance as a whole, but I think they underestimated the structure, the organization, and the strategy, and how accurate their strategy is and how quickly the resistance as a whole is able to move in unison. So even if they step this way, they still are doing good in the opposite direction as well, able to help out Iran in any way, shape, or form, because Hezbollah and Iran are both hitting strategic targets around the exact same time. So they doing dual markings of y'all. They taking y'all out at the exact same time. I mean, they out there in the field just just fucking y'all up. Now you're getting jumped. You weren't getting jumped before, but now you're getting jumped for sure. Y'all, it is wicked outside. I mean, it is so bad, but it would be better for y'all to see it for yourself, because I'm about to show y'all just how nasty of damage both Iran and Hezbollah are doing on both fronts. Roll that beautiful bean footage. Damn! My Lord, hey, my God, hey, you know they ain't making it to the people, my baby. Y'all done fucked around and found out. We know. No. That's all right, baby. That's all right.
I got a few clips of her, but you know what I mean? Check this out, though. Check this out. Check this out. B-Del, he said some real shit. Let's go to B-Del, y'all. Check out the young god.
Celebrating my boyfriend's 27th birthday. He was turning 27 on the 27th, and this is always somewhere he wanted to come. While we were out, we started seeing missiles in the sky and started hearing explosions. Emergency alert was saying, get away from windows, get away from glass, don't be outside. Missiles are kind of in the vicinity.
This photo, taken Sunday night, they were told they had to sleep in a parking garage.
We are currently living in a time right now where people are so oblivious to what the fuck is going on an international level, to the point where they trade in truth and knowledge and awareness for temporary fun. That is basically equated to walking into a battlefield blindfolded. This is not the time to be taking trips, going on vacations, none of that, because we're basically at the beginning points of war. So with that being said, read the room, because there's a psychological operation that's in the process. Donald Trump is the 9/11 president. So that means that there's going to be a 9/11 event that's going to be happening on his watch. Pay attention to everything around you.
So when we came back from South America, aka the greatest state, we gave you the report from the airport and was like, you know what I'm saying? Shit ain't looking good in the airport. I don't know what's about to happen, but it ain't looking too good for the gringos and whatnot. Y'all might want to reconsider that global travel, because that shit finna be over, right? And then when we did the knowledge on what Dubai, how the Dubai's hands was dirty and whatnot, how Dubai had a hand in the Sudan genocide, and we just saw what the genocide looked like because they showed it on TV a few months ago. Anybody that wanted to pack up and go to motherfucking Dubai, like that cornball Dave Chappelle, right, who went over there and did a fucking a show, pardon me, in Saudi Arabia, like Dave Chappelle, one of the biggest sellouts, fake ass, woke ass comedian, right? Went over to Saudi Arabia and had the nerve to try to make a joke about it. So we was like, I was like, yo, the UAE is dead. We're not doing the UAE. That shit is fugazi. It's basuda. We ain't even wasting our time in that fake. Can't even smoke trees over there. I ain't going. And now you, right, would be out of your cabezos. You would be out of your mind, right? You would be out of your noggin if you were to take your hard-earned money to go fly into the desert somewhere, so you literally could walk around wrapped up, you know what I mean, looking like a fake ass Timu chic and whatnot. You niggas going over there to take pictures in they Timu turbans, acting like Timu Nick Cannons and whatnot. And I'm tired of y'all niggas, man. Y'all not Muslims, y'all not faithful, y'all not doing nothing. Y'all just over there taking fake ass with the fake Muslims, taking fake ass pictures, trying to act like y'all cosplaying Muslims. So yeah, I'm glad that shit is over. That shit is done. You could never flex ever again, because what is Iran showing you? They showing you that all of those vassal states, all of those fake ass vassals, these might as well be red light districts, right? Bahrain and the red light districts. They all, you know what I mean? They all laying down with gringos, right? They all whores of Uncle Sam in America. All of these UAE, what they call the whole petrodollar states and all of that stupid shit. All that's over with. All of that is done. Where my dude at? My nigga, my Chinese nigga been cooking them. Where he at, man? He let him pack y'all up. Yeah, you're done. Yeah, the Chinese nigga's cooking. He's telling it. You know what I'm talking about? Let's go to my guy. Let's go to the professor.
This is the key question. Why do they do this? I think there are three possibilities, okay? And I think all three possibilities are valid. The first is the idea of hubris. you look at history, this is how empires behave. So the Mindoro kidnapping was quick, successful, and it was adrenaline rush for Trump. And that made him overconfident in the capacity of the American military. Okay, so hubris is a factor, and we see this throughout history. Why did Hitler invade Stalin? Because he conquered Europe really easily, and he thought it was invincible, right? And that led to the destruction of the German army in the Soviet Union. So hubris is a factor. Then you have to look at internal political calculus, where even though America does not benefit from this war against Iran, Trump himself personally benefits. Why? Because the Saudis and the Israelis are bribing him to attack Iran. Remember that the Saudis invested $2 billion in the private equity fund of Jared Kushner, who is the son-in-law of Donald Trump. And the Israelis, through Miriam Adelson, have been financing Trump's political career, right? So Miriam Adelson, a few months back, said that she will put up $250 million if Trump were to run a third term. So Trump is getting a lot of financial and political support from the Saudis and the Israelis. Also remember that if this war goes sideways and Trump is forced to use ground troops, he will probably get approval from Congress, and this will give him emergency war powers, which will allow him to influence the midterms.
So Trump with emergency war powers is basically a third-term president. Trump with the emergency war powers is basically martial law, and ICE gets to basically get activated. Trump with emergency war powers is basically the move to shut down all borders and to flatten niggas and to send all of his operatives to go ahead and rendition everybody that they got on the Palantir watch list. Pay attention. Pay attention to what's going on, please.
Trump is thinking about a third term. And I think at the ballot box, he probably won't get it. But if there's a war going on and you can delay elections and you have emergency war powers and people rally around the flag, then he probably will get a third term. And the last factor that is very important is the eschatological factor, where if you look at the Epstein files, it's clear that we are run by secret societies. It's clear that the world is run by these individuals who have a lot of power. We don't know who they are, but they control the military. They control the national security apparatus. And these people, there are different names for these people. You can call them the Illuminati. And the Illuminati are composed of three major groups, okay? You have the Jesuits, who control the Vatican. You have the Sabbatian Frankish, which control the modern state of Israel today. And you have the Freemasons, which control the national security apparatus of the United States. And they believe that Israel, this war in the Middle East, is key to the end times in creating heaven on earth. So it's almost like a script that they're following, even though it doesn't make any geopolitical sense. Okay, so I would say that these three are the best reasons why this is happening.
Wow. Well, sir, I hope you come back. This was very informative, I think, for both of us. We deeply appreciate your time. Thank you.
Professor just be cooking them with a straight face. He just be cooking, no emotions. All right, let's go down a rabbit hole. Let's go down the World War III rabbit hole. Check this shit out. This what they doing though, man. Check this out. This how this shit falling apart when in Rome.
Out. No one wants to fight for Israel.
His hand. Oh, his hand.
Sir. Let go of your hand. Let go of the door. Let go of the door. The senator broke his hand. A sitting U.S. senator just broke the hand of a Marine. Sir. Control your Senate. We're stuck in the door. Okay, sir. A U.S. senator just broke the hand of a Marine. Hand's stuck. A U.S. senator just broke the hand of a Marine. You're a coward. What did you say? Senator? Go fuck yourself. That's why you got kicked out, fat ass.
Everybody sit down, please. Sit down, please. Everybody sit down, please. Everybody sit down, please.
I'm getting out of here.
That's fine. Everybody sit down, please. Is your hand okay? Okay.
No, it's not. So, just to give you, this is I'm sure that this video is going to go viral, but it's a snapshot on how bad things are getting, ladies and gentlemen. It's a snapshot on the quote unquote fall, the great fall. It's a snapshot on how they're just exposing themselves, man. They just falling on themselves, man. These people are nervous. Like, they got to wake up to shit like this every day. They got to wake up to shit like this. Tel Aviv is looking like rubble right now. They got to wake up to shit like this. They don't feel, I don't think they feel too great about what's going on to them and whatnot. They got to deal with that type of stuff. But they crashing out. Once again, all of these Muslims that sold out the rest of their people to be in bed with the quote-unquote synagogue, they also are done. Like, because think about it. Their main thing in the Middle East, right, was tourism. Okay? Their whole thing in the Middle East, because who the fuck was going to the middle of the desert and whatnot, was tourism, right? 80% of the food in the Middle Eastern countries, the Gulf Coast, the GCC, right? Which is basically in a desert, right? While Iran is a mountainous region. They're mountain locked, right? They're sitting in a mountain. This is a desert. They're literally just bombing the fucking desert. They don't have no defenses. They're the desert. They're not a mountainous region. They're sitting in the desert, right? They're sitting in the desert. They're getting blown to smithereens and whatnot from Iran, okay? They're hitting up, very easy work. They're destroying, right? They're picking apart their oil refineries. They're picking apart their tourist destination. They're picking apart the American bases and whatnot, right? Nobody is going to visit there in a few years. Nobody's going to want to visit there in a few years, okay? That shit is over with. And they're being seen as traitors by the rest of the Muslim world. You know what I'm talking about? It's going to be real spooky outside for them. Right? So just to show you that these people are crusaders and they're not slowing down, and their intentions are crusader, right? They have implemented their crusader clause. And keep in mind, President Trump put out a memo in December, and it basically said that they're going to take over Latin America. They're going to flex the Monroe Doctrine, right? And they're basically taking over that whole entire continent. So the move against Cuba and the move against Ecuador. Why are they in Ecuador? What the fuck are they in Ecuador for? They want to go in Colombia. They want to go into Cuba, but they are on them Amazon countries' ass, right? All of these are Amazonian except for Cuba, but these are Amazonian countries: Colombia, Venezuela, Ecuador. They don't want the oil, they want the Amazon. The Amazon, unbeknownst to people on the line right now, the Amazon is literally its own country. The Amazon is literally its own country, right? So there's so much inside of the Amazon that's unexplored. There are civilizations that they have made no contact. There are buried treasures. There's magic. There's a bunch of power in these areas and whatnot. I feel that they want to infiltrate. Okay. That's one of the most that on this planet. Those are some of the undiscovered places and whatnot. They have discovered many places and mapped out many other places, but the Amazon is something that they keep hidden and protected and whatnot. As you can see with Operation Southern Spear, they are utilizing AI, they're utilizing drones, they're utilizing robots, and they're utilizing shit like Starlink, radar, and things like that to map out, to surveil, okay, and to mess with that energy that is over there in the Amazon, in South America, and especially amongst people who are tapping into their powers. Spiritually powerful land or spiritually powerful grids and whatnot. That's what these crusaders are going after. Okay, that's what these crusaders are going after, right? So they moving around in Ecuador right now as if they could just stretch out and shit like that, right? So they're fighting multiple wars on multiple fronts, and I believe they got they boots on the ground in Nigeria. Okay. All right. So here you go. Ecuador bans oil drilling to protect the 700,000 hectare rainforest and indigenous people. Same thing that happened in Colombia. Same thing that's going on in Venezuela. Same thing going on in Brazil. Because under Bolsonaro in Brazil, when they had that Trump look the Trump of Brazil, he was letting them go ahead and chop down the Amazon and infiltrate and pillage and whatnot. Do you know what kind of power is inside? Yeah, people are thinking oil. No, my nigga, it don't got nothing to do with that. The oil is a byproduct of it all. It's all type of stuff that's inside of those forests, inside of that Amazon jungle and that rainforest. You have no idea. You have no idea. So here it goes. Ecuador bans oil drilling to protect their rainforests and the indigenous people, right? So these crusaders are going in to finish what it is that their ancestors started. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Okay? Check it out.
It's that simple. Why do you think he is working so hard not to get them released for so many months? What do you think the real reason is?
These files implicate billionaires and friends of his and political donors that he's trying to protect. And Epstein also had close ties to our own intelligence agencies and Israel's intelligence agencies. That's why there's so much effort in trying to stop this. And I do believe they'll try to stop it somewhere else. And that's going to backfire on them too.
So the president.
All right, let's go to more of the tape.
Have you seen this?
If World War III happens in the next few years, it will most likely be because...
It will most likely be because of this company. Yes, you didn't hear that wrong. A company on a small island that the United States is ready to bomb flat if it ever falls into enemy hands. This isn't just a conspiracy theory or fear-mongering. This is a strategic statement that, honestly, is terrifying. Because some people have literally said this. I would rather see the global economy collapse and humanity go back to the Stone Age than let this technology fall into China's hands. The company is called TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. And basically, it's just a factory. But they have that much power because TSMC is not just any factory. For those who understand, they are basically the heart of digital civilization. Look at the phone in your hand, the laptop you use for work, electric cars, even smart missiles and military satellites. All of them need a brain, what we call a chip. And here's the terrifying fact. 92% of the world's most advanced chips can only be made in one place, TSMC. In 2021, Taiwan had a massive drought. TSMC's factories need about 156,000 tons of clean water every single day just to wash silicon wafers. At that time, the government was willing to cut water supplies to thousands of hectares of farmland just to keep TSMC running. They also consume 7% of Taiwan's total electricity. This is one company, because if they stopped production for just one day, the global economy is estimated to lose $5 billion per day. This is the real kill switch of the world economy. Some people even say this is the most important company in human history. So today, we're going to break down why this company is truly irreplaceable, even by giants like Samsung and Intel, and why they control the future of global technology to the point where they could trigger World War III. First, let's not be naive.
Let's not be naive, guys. Let's not be naive. Let's see. What else do we have to talk about?
Does he not understand that Ali Khamenei volunteered to die on the first day of the war? Ali Khamenei was at home in his residence, knowing he was being hunted down by the United States, knowing he was being targeted by death. He was surrounded by fellow shaheeds who also knew that they were going to die, but they also understood that there was a purpose in their death, because by dying, they entered into martyrdom. And the Iranian people are in the streets, but they're not shouting death to Khamenei. They're shouting long live the martyr Khamenei. That's why we lost the war on day one. This was a trap set by the Iranians on day one by a people of faith. Donald Trump wouldn't even know what a Shia is or what a Twelver is. He doesn't know who Hussein is. He doesn't know who Ali is. He has no clue what the Battle of Karbala is. And yet he fell into a trap where all of this is relevant. He assassinated or facilitated the murder of the second most important man in the Shia faith, Ali Khamenei. This is the equivalent of killing the Pope if you're Catholic, killing the Archbishop of Canterbury if you're British, killing the head of the Orthodox Church, Kirill, if you are Russian. And Donald Trump doesn't understand this. If the purpose of this operation was to get the Iranian people in the street, Donald Trump succeeded. But he got the wrong people in the street for the wrong cause. The people of Iran today are rallying in support of the Islamic Republic. The Islamic Republic is invincible at this moment because you can't kill people who are ready to die for their cause. And the Shia of Iran, who are defending the Islamic Republic, are prepared to a man, to a woman, to become martyrs in the cause of their faith. And it is the Islamic Republic of Iran that they are defending, not just their land, not just their culture, not just their history, but their faith. Donald Trump lost this war, the first missiles that impacted the ground.
Do y'all understand who the supreme leader is? I just want to make clarity. Like, does everybody understand what a supreme leader is? That's literally, imagine if a jet fighter bombed the Vatican and took out the Pope. He is their spiritual supreme leader across all demarcation lines. Like, they literally assassinated the Pope in the Muslim world. Like, what the fuck? Like, for real, my nigga? That's what we doing now? That's really what we doing, my nigga? That's how y'all moving? Okay. All right. Say less.
We have some news right now. Military service members.
Say less. Okay. That's what we doing. Niggas is out here smoking popes and shit. All right. And then they did it in a grimiest way. Like, they was definitely, you know what I mean? They were trying to negotiate a ceasefire, a peace fire, and all of that. And they out here murking niggas.
I have some big news right now. Ukraine has kind of turned the tables on the United States this evening. President Zelensky has announced that the United States has asked President Zelensky and the Ukrainian military for support in Iran intercepting drones. Zelensky made this announcement in a video posted to his social media this evening. That is an interesting development. A couple reasons. Number one, Donald Trump has railed against Zelensky for a long time, and now he's asking for Zelensky's help. Number two, the reason he's asking for Zelensky's help is, well, because Ukraine, they're experts in dealing with drones, being that they're on the battlefield in Eastern Europe all the time. At the same time, Donald Trump has now said publicly that he struck Iran. Why? Well, because Iran was 2 weeks away from securing a nuclear weapon. There's absolutely zero intelligence to support that. Zelensky says he will support the United States' effort and help the United States so long as it doesn't impact what is happening on the ground in Eastern Europe. Spread the word. Full updates on my Substack, linked in bio. Subscribe for free. Follow along for more.
So they are getting their asses handed to them with these Iranian missile strikes. They were not anticipating, right? They were not anticipating these missile strikes to go the way that they were going. I just seen a video where them niggas is firing missiles out the ground. They got missiles coming up out the goddamn ground hitting shit. So yeah, America is getting hammered right now. And those attacks on those oil refineries. Matter of fact, they said that, that it was Israel in America that attacked the Saudi, quote unquote. They were the ones that attacked the Saudis' oil field, and they found out about that shit. So yeah, they out here looking real bad, family. Your man's in
Iran just played a move, and I'm like, girl, you smart. So remember last night, Iran was sending out these missiles that exploded into like 80 warheads, and it was like boom, 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 boom. And the interceptors didn't know what to do, and they were like trying to catch all of them. Well, tonight they're using something completely different. So this time, on the fourth night of the war, they've sent out heavy hypersonic missiles, the ones that when they impact, it's like massive. Because the thing is, they drove the Iron Dome crazy last night. It was like ding, 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 losing its mind and breaking down. And interceptors have run out. Yes. So now they don't have anything to stop these big boys coming in. Big boys hit Israel tonight. It's going to be maximum damage. And that's clever. They used up all the Israeli interceptor missiles with these 80 warhead ones. Like, send one of those and you've got like 80 warheads coming out. How many interceptors are you wasting? Now that they're all wasted, now you send in the big boys. Now you send in the big guns. That was really smart. Scarily smart. The orange blob didn't think this through, did he? He really didn't think this through. You know, sometimes when people's egos are too big that they think they're invincible, and the underdog comes through and it's like pow, 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 pow. It's a bit like Rocky, really, isn't it? Anyway, I'm going to keep you updated because I'm still working on uploading, downloading my chai time. So after all of this, you guys better check it out tomorrow on the Canary UK's YouTube.
All right, so we attack Iran. Everyone knows that. Everyone's seen it. The only people that this really benefits, it's not us. We benefit absolutely nothing from attacking Iran. The people that benefit from this is Israel. They're the ones who wanted it. They are the ones who have the blackmail on all of the important people in the United States to make this happen, and now it's happened. We didn't need to. Do you really think those negotiations fell apart, or did we back out of them? This is what Iran's wanted this entire time, is to get us into another war. And it's happened so many times. 9/11, the false flag attacks on one of our ships to try and get us into yet another war. It's always been them. I think everyone pretty much knows that. But, you know, unfortunately, I'm a Christian, and there are a lot of other Christians out there that are still, you know, gung-ho for Israel for no freaking reason at all, because they have this twisted idea in their brains that we have to do or die by Israel because they claim that the Bible says so in Genesis 12:3. So Genesis 12:3, it's, you know, it says, those who curse you will be cursed, those who bless you will be blessed, something like that. Yeah, that's not talking about the nation of Israel, dude. The nation of Israel as it exists today is not through the grace of God in 1948. It is through political Zionism, and that's why the nation of Israel exists as it does today. Okay? All my fellow Christians out there that sit there and say, oh, we have to stand by Israel with everything that we have. Can I ask you why you think that? Because the Bible doesn't support that. When God is talking to Abraham in Genesis 12:3, and he says, those who bless you and your descendants will be blessed, those who curse you and your descendants will be cursed, he's talking about Abraham's descendants. Who comes from the line of Abraham?
And who's the true chosen ones? And I think once they're able to admit that and say that out loud, then they might be able to find some type of remittance, right? They might find some type of remittance, but they gotta keep it real. They can't, you know what I mean? They gotta be honest. You know, we know they ain't talking about them people. So say who they talking about. Just start with that.
We aren't just watching a geopolitical.
Just start with that.
We are watching a 150-year-old blueprint for the apocalypse execute itself to perfection. In 1871, a high-ranking free
watching a geopolitical collapse. We are watching a 150-year-old blueprint for the apocalypse execute itself to perfection. In 1871, a high-ranking Freemason named Albert Pike allegedly mapped out the exact architecture for 3 global conflicts. The first 2 played out with terrifying precision, but his prophecy for World War III is what should completely freeze the blood in your veins right now. Pike wrote that the final war must be deliberately engineered to force Israel and the Islamic world to mutually and entirely annihilate each other. The rest of the globe will be dragged into the slaughter until every nation reaches a state of absolute physical, moral, and economic exhaustion. But the true horror isn't the war itself. It's the trap waiting in the ashes. Pike explicitly stated that once the surviving masses are utterly broken, stripped of their wealth, and disillusioned with their governments and traditional religions, the hidden architects will step out of the shadows to take total, centralized control.
I mean, I'm not no doomsday prepper, but can y'all see how something like that could unfold? Huh? Can y'all see how something like that can unfold? Because I kind of can. You know, I kind of can.
He claimed that in this moment of ultimate global despair, they would finally reveal the pure doctrine of Lucifer to a desperate, begging world. This isn't just an occult conspiracy. It is the exact same terrifying endgame warned about across every major ancient timeline. A singular, authoritarian deceiver rising from the ruins of a self-destructive war to offer a false, unified peace. In Christian prophecy, it is the rise of the Antichrist. In Islamic tradition, it is the coming of the Dajjal. In Hindu cosmology, it is the darkest depths of Kali Yuga. Different names, exact same blueprint. They are burning the old world to the ground right in front of our eyes simply to make the survivors beg for the new one. This is the Apex Alpha, and you are watching unseen markets. Stay ruthless. Stay awake.
Here we go.
Boom! We got action. First things first, it's important for you to know that the UAE bitched out. They said, I'm out. Take me out the game, coach. I'm ready to ride the bench. You fucking knew. The whole goddamn country is filled with glass. Did you really think? If I was Iran, I would still stomp a whole fucking year worth of salary up out your ass. Yeah. You not going, no, ain't no I quit. And no. You sit your ass right there. Don't worry, I'm gonna get to you. Now see, y'all asses out there getting white sheeted in the middle of the fucking field. Hold the white sheet. They ain't got no more. They ran out. There was too many bodies piled up. Over 650 American soldiers already wiped off the face of the earth.
I heard those numbers too. And they running around telling people, yeah, we lost. Do you know the first people that lost their lives was melanated, ladies and gentlemen? They got 3 of us up there. They got 3 of us in the Middle East, of all places, lost their life. Did y'all see that? Matter of fact, let me go and pull these people's faces up because they ain't even, I don't even know their names and whatnot. But I bet you if they was clear, you would know their names. They would make their names known. They would make they know they would be saying their names. You know? They got our people all up in these armed forces working. Oh shit. Look at that. Well, I'll be damned. Hold on, Chocolate Godiva. We'll be right back with you, beloved. Look at this shit right here. Well, I'll be damned there, buddy, old pal. What do we have here? What the hell is this? These niggas was black the other day. Now they done. I done woke up in another. Am I on a new timeline? They were black the other day. How they turned into wafers? Pentagon released. My goodness, it was 3 black folks. Was that AI? What the hell? Am I the only one that saw that? Oh man, they killed Quark. They killed the homie. But anyway, regardless of anything, they're lying about the numbers. Okay. Pistol Pete and all of them, they're lying about the numbers. You know, I promise you, I'm in a new timeline. I'm going to upload the picture of the 3 ones that died because what the hell? How did they switch that up so fast on us? God damn it. Man, they probably read the metrics and the analytics and was like, nobody, when they put them black faces up there, they was like, they didn't get no feedback, no responses, they wasn't able to energy harvest. So they threw the white people up. They threw the mayonnaise ones up. They was like, maybe we could feed off of that sorrow. Let's throw some good old American heroes up there. But let's go back to Chocolate Godiva. I'm gonna look for this picture.
My God on today. But these are not American soldiers. These are the Israelis. No more white sheets. They don't have no more white sheets. Sorry, we don't have time or room for keeping your identity safe. They whooping y'all asses too bad and way too quickly. And that they are doing. I mean, they literally just shot another F-35 up out the sky. Like it was nothing. Both Hezbollah and Iran. So I'd imagine the white sheets, just go ahead and hold them, get them up out of that field. And then they try to be slick, United States and Israel, and try to start a revolution from within. Did you not think that they was watching their back? Y'all got caught yet again trying to do some slick shit because you losing. And I'm going to show you in a second how and why they are losing. Now, initially, they was all outside fighting like 2 niggas. This is the city of Tyre in Lebanon, one of the southern towns in Lebanon that America and Israel decided to use illegal banned weapons on. Of mass destruction. But this is nothing new because they've been doing this entire time. And it wasn't until Iran started using them back and they was like, that's not fair. Why not? You're still doing it. One quick second. My thoughts and prayers goes out to anybody that was impacted or affected by the continuous bombing of southern Lebanon in retaliation for what Hezbollah and Iran is doing, sticking their foot up their ass and turning that bitch sideways all the way up to their trachea and working them like a fucking puppet. Let's keep going. Oh, you know they had to get their fucking lick back. You know they did. For sure, you're right on. Hezbollah out in the field just whooping ass, flipping tanks inside out and shredding them bitches every other goddamn hour. I mean, the boys are back in town, damn it. This is what the fuck I'm talking about. Took y'all niggas long enough. Where the fuck y'all been at? We was out here. Waiting for y'all to get back in the field. Where the hell y'all been at, Craig? God damn it, we missed the fuck out of y'all. Anyways, they out there sending missiles directly into Israel at the exact same time that Iran is sending missiles out there. So they really out there just tap dancing all across Israel's ass. Yeah. The boys are back in town. Shit. And if that wasn't bad enough, America and the CIA, basically, America and Israel came up with a plan. Oh, we gonna go get the Kurdish forces. Keep in mind, I believe there's two different sectors of Kurdish forces, but these particular Kurdish forces are up for sale. Long story short, there's this mercenary group. They are up for sale and they're willing to do whatever for the highest bidder. So the CIA is doing whatever they can to ink a deal so that they can arm them so they can do a ground invasion onto Iran to distract them from that. However, the Iranians and the IRGC said, baby, we was waiting on God to do. Oh, you ready? We ready. They heading out to the field right now. They on there. Let me give you a closer look. They heard y'all was coming. Baby, they hear you. They hear you coming. They said we on the fucking way. Matter of fact, we already out here. It's whatever you want to do. Bitches, those. Baby, Kurdish forces. If you know what I know. You might as well go ahead and hit that door, baby. They about to get up in your shit real quick. Oh my God. It's about to be bodies. Bodies lined up everywhere. It's not what we want. Which is why we're asking you to just don't even take the money. It ain't worth it. Our own American soldiers are being wiped out. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. You see how they coming? They ready for whatever. Hezbollah ain't nowhere near as armed as Iran right now, and they sending them bodies out the fucking. They coming in and leaving the same day. Coming in and leaving the same day. They cycling them motherfuckers through. In and out, in and out, in and out. God damn it, I missed our getaways cousins. I missed them so bad. These is my favorite cousins for real. I'm not even gonna hold y'all. Between Yemen and Hezbollah, when they get back in town, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a fucking party. And by party, I do mean you are the honorable guest. And speaking of honorable guests, Saudi Arabia has just now been warned by Israel, either you get your ass in the motherfucking field or you gonna have to see me. So basically they trying to do some other attack to make it look like it came from Iran, which would then get Saudi Arabia to be forced out into the field. However, Yemen said, I got enough for you too. What you trying to do, bro? It's whatever you want to do. I done told you niggas. You get involved and I'm going to get my foot up that ass. I'm going to get my foot up that ass. Way up that bitch. Don't you get involved. Because I promise you, it's not what you want to do, boo. It's not what you want to do. It's not. Okay? Go ahead and get involved and you going to see something real quick. These ghetto cousins is outside giving that work, boy. Now see what happens when you fuck around. You find out. Yeah, that's how that happens. Now see. Casket swinging, church hymn singing. Casket swinging and church hymn singing. Off beating all. Yikes on bikes. Yikes! On bikes. Is that a mass grave that y'all digging over there? My God, on today, have them tables turned. And we sure do love with them tables turned. Now, let me help you understand how we know for certain that America and Israel are losing in this particular situation, despite them coming up with creative, colorful ways to try and cheat their way through the situation. The majority of their stockpile is done. The majority of America and Israel stockpile, they're done. They didn't even have more than 26% of what they needed in order to be able to accurately fight Iran or even so much as Hezbollah for the long haul. They didn't have anywhere near what they needed, right? Right. Now, try to remember, but I thought they had over 500-something planes and da-da-da-da. They are mediocre. They're mediocre. So you require a lot more equipment when you can't shoot worth the motherfucking damn. You gonna waste way more bullets trying to get to that target than people who are actually trained with precision, that actually are trained to be in the field and making shit shake. You get what I'm saying? You dig, baby, you dig. It's one thing to be trained to be in the field. It's another thing to be trained to be in the field and making shit shake. They don't shake the room, Iran. They are the ones shaking the whole motherfucking region. region up. You understand what I'm saying? They bombed all them countries at the same motherfucking time, then turned around and pushed the goddamn button and sent 600 missiles all at once directly to Israel and had them motherfuckers shitting on themselves watching the missiles come to them. They are the epitome of I'ma get my lick back. I'm going to get my lick back. Even if I got to die to get that lick back, I'm going to get that fucking lick back. And it's behind the principle alone. Believe that shit. And unfortunately, America done fucked around and find out. Now, let me help you understand what's really going on. So, Donnie and them boys, they over there at Lockheed, with Lockheed and Raytheon, which are two other Israeli and I believe English producers of weapons and arms outside of Elbit Systems, right? So they having a meeting because they trying to prepare over $50 billion so that they can get more Tomahawks, a bunch more shit so they can stay in the fight. I don't know how it's going to look, but 400 Tomahawk missiles have been expended, equivalent to about 5-year worth of supply. Again, when you're mediocre, you're going to go, it's okay, think about it this way. You're going to go through, like, say if I was braiding hair, and I don't really know how to part real well, so I got to use a bunch of braiding gel just to help me part. I'm going to probably go through that whole fucking jar of gel before I really get a straight line because, again, bitch, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. That's the same thing. It's the same thing. I know. Just stick with me, Buki. Just stick with me. Now, let me show you what the opposite end looks like. The ones that's out there keeping up with them, not only keeping up with them, but keeping them on their toes. Bitch, they only use 2 to 3% of their stockpile. Iran. They only use 2 to 3%. This shit's so fucking embarrassing, bro. Oh my God. Girl, like, abort. Back the fuck up out of there. Abort. Before y'all spend another motherfucking dollar. Back out of there. You're not equipped. Back out of there. Y'all stay tuned.
Yes. You know, she said it best, you know. She said it best. They are not equipped. Okay? They're getting their asses handed to them. Shout out to the sister in her delivery. You know, sometimes this is a war report, so you got to get it from a ratchet perspective. You dig? I would rather hear her in her ratchetness talk some realness than to hear her talking on some old fake MAGA shit. You know what I mean? I would prefer her just saying shit that's giving all of these G.I. Joes some cringeworthy feelings and whatnot than to hear her, you know, juggling the MAGA, and getting on the MAGA train, sounding like a Nicki Minaj Barbie and whatnot. I'm so good on that. Y'all can have that. Give me her with her quote unquote is it real sentiments. I could rock with that. You know what I mean? Yeah, that part. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be the end of tonight's show. Like I said, we will be back. Third Eye Thursdays is mañana. I'm working on something. I should be having a special guest in the building and whatnot. Look out for that. And once again, we are going to be in Atlanta next week for the Techno Bowl. Check it out, y'all. We got the Techno Bowl coming up. That is our 1-year anniversary for Techno Tuesdays. All right. We're going to be doing a prompt party. We're going to have a hackathon. It's going to be prizes, grand prize winners and whatnot. We got vendors in the building. We're going to have food in the building. That is going to be next Tuesday, March 10th at Spin City headquarters in Atlanta, ladies and gentlemen. You can scan that QR code right there. You can scan the QR code and get your tickets. This is an IRL event celebrating 1 year of Techno Tuesdays. 1 year of Techno Tuesdays. We got the Techno Bowl coming up next Tuesday. IRL in real life, right there in the A. Pull up and come in, tap in with us. You know what I mean? Spend it, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Spend some time with your slimes and whatnot. We're going to have a good old time. And we're going to be dropping some good information. So, yes, sir. I will see you in the building if that's where you're going to be. If not, we will see you we'll see you other than that. You know, we'll make time. We'll get up with you. You know what I'm talking about? We'll get up with you. Let's go to a word of our sponsors, the CMOS. We got VCell CMOS in the building. Let's go to VCell and we be right back.
VCell in my cup, I'm feeling boss. 21 flavors powered by CMOS. Flow from within, yeah, we never fall off. Count it up, 99 minerals, flaws. VCell in my cup, I'm feeling right. Sip to the sunrise, dance to the night. From the ocean's kiss to your city lights. 21 flavors, pure health in every bite. Drip so clean, we're custom made. From reef to street, we elevate. Gold green gel, set the record straight. Nature in a bottle, that's a better way. Charge me up, no caffeine crash. Clean energy, steady splash. From skin to gut, yeah, we live from within. Wellness on 10, let the rhythm begin. Pour it up, pour it up. Feel the wave, body thanking me. Every sip, ocean wisdom in this glass. We sell magic, CMOS. VCell in my car, I'm feeling boss. 21 flavors powered by CMOS. Glow from within, yeah, we never fall off. Count it up, 99 minerals, flaws. Island breeze in the city maze. We're mineral rich in 1,000 ways. Immunity high like the summer rays. Hydrate the hustle, fuel your days. Berry, mango, ginger, lime. Pick your flow, your flavor, your time. Beauty and balance we redefine. Every little sip, align your shine. Wear it up, feel the way. Body thanking me for every sip. Ocean wisdom in this glass. We sell magic, CMOS. VCell in my car, I'm feeling boss. 21 flavors powered by CMOS. Glow from within, yeah, we never fall off. Count it up, 99 minerals, flaws. From the coral choir to the heartbeat drum. Roots run deep where the wild tide hum. Real ones know where the glow comes from. VCell in the mix now, watch us.
AI Labs is refusing a...
Yes, family. Yes, family. Yes, family. Yes, family. The Mandem said, CMOS won't save you. CMOS won't save you. How many people in the building have the opportunity to taste the VCell Naturals? How many people ordered and got your CMOS and whatnot? Shout out to everybody. I got a lot of feedback about all of the people that have been ordering and whatnot. So shout out to everyone that's been trying out the CMOS. I'm gonna put a commercial up, inshallah, probably tomorrow. To just give some, give that we got people, what do they call that? UGC, user generated content. You know what I mean? We had people taste it right on the spot and we filmed them. So I'm gonna put those videos out there so the family can see how good it is. And not just coming from my perspective, but you get to see how other people are taken aback by the taste of it and how good it is. If you were to ask me personally, I would say it's definitely stack up time. It's definitely stack up on food time. You are absolutely correct. Stack up on food and water. Stack up on, not on some old doomsday prepper thing, but it's definitely time to have a stash. It's definitely time to have some ammo. It's definitely time to have the bug out bag. It's definitely time to have the foods and the grains and all of that stuff. You want to have the food because when they close the Strait of Hormuz, right? They're gonna strangle the Gulf Coast countries, all of that Gulf Coast shit. They about to strangle them. They about to basically snuff them out. They got water issues and they import 80% of their food, right? Remember, this is the desert. They don't grow anything over there in those very wealthy, rich places. Everything is imported. But with Iran controlling the straits, they're going to close that shit off, and they're going to gas prices. So all of you traders, everybody should be getting rich right now. All of the day traders, y'all should be up. Like, y'all should really be up right now. That we shouldn't even hear from y'all. Y'all should be going to sleep at 8 o'clock and waking up at 3, getting ready for the market to open. Y'all should be killing that shit. I expect y'all to come through with the Baggington. You dig? Yeah, they're gonna have to abandon the petrodollar eventually. They're going to have to abandon the petrodollar eventually. Remember, we were talking about petroleum a few weeks ago, and we were gonna go ahead and do the petroleum show. Well, what better time to do the petroleum? Petroleum has destroyed this planet. Okay. And the same way that they use petroleum to kind of give rise to a satanic energy. Keep in mind, Vietnam was crazy in and of itself, but when they did that deal with them OPEC, and when they started pumping all that oil, and they created all of those Gulf Coast regions, a lot of demonic shit was coming out of that. A lot of terrorism, and a lot of people got displaced, I'm sure. It's just a lot of fuckery comes out of that. Cocaine is petroleum. Pharmaceuticals, pharmacopoeia, petroleum, right? They went ahead and squashed and crushed the hemp. They crushed hemp, and they brought in petroleum. They brought in nylon. They brought in polyester. They crushed linen. They crushed the natural fabrics, and they brought in that goddamn plastic that everybody's wearing, microplastics. They destroyed the terra firma, Pachamama, you know what I mean? All of that shit, all of that petroleum, digging up the land, and then when you like I said, the cocaine, right? The cocaine, that controlled substance, they made that with petroleum. They mixing that shit up with gas and all petroleum. They put them leaves in with chemicals, and them chemicals have the places like paradise. You know what I mean? Them chemicals are destroying fresh water, microplastics, landfills filling up with plastic, all of that petroleum shit, all of that to stop the hemp movement, all of that to stop natural crops and whatnot. So we're gonna have that conversation, and that shit has to die off. I don't think electric cars are the answer either. They're gonna have to figure out some Tesla type shit. Where homie at that was making the cars, he was turning cars on with plastic. Like, where's he at? I wonder where he's at. Is anybody out there heard the news about Burkina Faso striking a deal with the USA? Has anybody seen that? I'm trying to determine if that's real or not. Okay. I want to make sure that's real. Yeah. But let us continue. I need to determine if it's real or not. I will talk about it if it is real. If it's not fake news, I will get back to y'all tomorrow, because if that's real news, then that is a checkmate. Mr. Traore is making a horrible choice. He's making that is one of the worst decisions that he could have made. If that is true, if he made any type of deal with the USA right now, while they're trying to basically encroach upon not just his region, but the entire Sahel region, I pray to God that he does not get in bed with these pirates, especially while they out here on a pillaging campaign. You know what I mean? Do not let Remick in. Do not let Remick in. That part. Do not let Remick in. at this point, we should be pushing Remick out the door. Wherever we find these Remicks, we should be packing them up and getting them up out of, away from us. Yeah, I need to hear it from his mouth. I don't trust. There's no, like I said, you cannot trust any news report, any picture of people standing next to one another. All of that could be manipulated at the you could literally clone a New York Times front page. You could clone a daily news cover. You can't trust any of those. I gotta see the video, and then I gotta look at the video to make sure it's not deep fake. So with that being said, I'm on the lookout. I'm gonna do my homework, and I'll get back to y'all. Third Eye Thursdays is tomorrow. Check out the Techno Bowl. That's next Tuesday in Atlanta, the IRL type of thing. You know what I mean? We're gonna end this with the Theta Waves. You know what I mean? It's not ever, you know, we usually close out with a different song, but the people have been inboxing. They close that shit out and open it up with yo, I need that. So yeah, that's the song right now. We rocking out. Peace, love, and light to the family. Y'all stay dangerous, and we will get back to you. All right, one.
Can't beat us, join us, please bring your coinage. We sing 3-pointers, money shots, all net, all vets. Bumps we not, jet skiing in them sunny spots. With women edible like gummy drops. Dummy stop, dummy stop. No weapon form can intercept a storm. Once my intellect is on, I'm projecting on magnetic fields. And interact with blacks with athletic bills. I'm all about growth and development like residents of Ebbets Fields. Not to choose between woo and chew. We wanna line them colors up like a Rubik's Cube. And fade to black, yeah, the truest hue. When you say the black man is God, who you alluded to? The usual, Clarence 13X, a worthy guess. The words expressed come from the word in flesh. Elijah M, the NOI versus Leviathan. Messiah sent from the heavenly branches. 7 P's from since G-Dub cut down the cherry tree. In the wilderness of North Mex, and we flossing death and forced aggression, or forced perception, forced protection, or forced confessions. It's all a lesson.
The sorcerers from Corsica, killer tonics, sticks and drums like the Philharmonic Orchestra. You niggas still playing harmonicas from officers, fabric softener. Jive turkeys popping 5 perkies, playing with keys, the Scotch stores type. For that soft right, we could've caught life, just being forthright. First class on my 4th flight, popping out like Fortnite. Every night we lit like Porsche lights. The meek shall inherit the earth, oh yeah, the scorched type. And these niggas, they some hoes in these streets. Me, I'm 10 toes in these streets. They lost their souls, niggas got holes in their feet. Shit, I'm just worried about the craft and how to perfect it. Not worried about the craft, yeah, that's out of perspectives. Focus on the chip like I'm Robert Kraft, and then how to protect it. It's the waves of the oceans. Get to the money, nigga, save your emotion. Descendant of the slaves in the graves in the oceans. Mastermind that the waves is in motions. These niggas, they addicted to the folly, addicted to that molly. Making me a movie, them sticks made of holly. I'm Dr. Manhattan, sitting on top of Manhattan. When I get all 5 rings, snap my fingers and pop up on satin. Dressed in all black, yeah, drop top the Phantom. Bless.